Hi everyone, thank you for watching. My name is Ivan Blasquez. You have probably seen some of my videos, particularly this video deals with, this is a continued series, if you will, on fasted state cardio versus fed state cardio and how it pertains to, really, we can look at a lot of different parameters, but we're focusing on fat loss in terms of this video and even the others. In the other videos, I was a little bit lengthy in my discussion, and I did cite some studies at the bottom of the videos, but I didn't really conclude which one was better. I just said that fed state could obviously lead to fat loss, because a lot of people just jump on the bandwagon of the fasted state cardio, and then you also have people who are completely against fasted state cardio. So let me give you my take on it, and my take is you shouldn't take it with a grain of salt, because it's very, very scientific and very research-based, as well as personal experience. So we're talking about bridging the gap between theory and practice, okay? Both methods work. My take is fasted state cardio works a little better. Here's why. One, and this is personal experience, but also there's research to support it, and that's why I was doing it, for the research. Most people in the past would do it because you read it in a magazine, a bodybuilder magazine. The bodybuilders would do it, you know, with a jug of water, a gallon jug of water, and walking on a treadmill. It's so silly. It's pure stupidity. But I actually did the research, and scientifically, and evidence, in terms of the evidence, it shows that the body relies more on fat for energy, and there's even favorable adaptations in terms of physiologically on a whole scale of parameters, not just fat loss, but even stamina and endurance. And you can check out the studies at the bottom of this video as well. There are going to be some new studies that I'm posting down at the bottom. A few of them are actually from this year, 2015. In fact, one study actually looked at leucine intake and if it affected fat loss or fat oxidation. They found that it did not. So that was something I was doing way back when, folks. I was consuming protein in the morning, just protein, and maybe some, and then you know, protein with water or whatever, and I would just go do my cardio. Now I do it better. I go with plant protein, and I have some natural foods that are like in supplement form. Like, for instance, I have this powder. It's a green powder. It's a mix of barley grass, wheatgrass, alfalfa grass, dandelion, oat grass. You may ask yourself, what's the point of that? Here's the point. It's very low in calories. It's like 15 calories per serving, but it's high in antioxidants as well as nutrients. So that helps to prevent the potential cortisol elevations, as well as taxing the immune system, particularly the central nervous system and the adrenal glands. Because when you're in a fat loss state, particularly when you're trying to optimize the window in the morning, like the fastest, and my fastest state is not just fasted. I always have something, in this instance usually plant protein with a little bit of nutrition, micronutrition that is, not macro. Of course the only macro is the plant protein, but aside from that, so I do that to spare muscle, so my body will actually oxidize the exogenous protein source, and then on top of that, or if it doesn't oxidize it, it certainly will send a signal to the body to hold on to muscle because of the nitrogen balance effect of protein, putting you more into a positive. And secondly, the micronutrition is key, because it's going to, just in general, it enhances well-being and health, okay, with minimal caloric impact. I call that nutrient surplus caloric deficit. So the point is that fed state cardio is also important, because you will be burning more carbs for energy, but it's going to boost your fitness level. And people don't realize that when you're fitter, you actually will be burning fat a lot better, particularly when you're not exercising. So you're going to get a greater intensity of workout, as well as a longer duration with a carb-loaded state, with a fed state. The only catch is, and this is personal experience tying into this answer, is that it takes longer to get leaner. It really does. I got real lean last year, and I didn't do any fasted state cardio, but it took me a little longer to do it, and it was also harder to maintain it, because I had to continue to train really hard. Whereas in years past, I trained really hard, but I didn't really have the I guess you can call them really long workouts like I did last year. So I guess my answer to this debate is simply to do both. Mix it up. So for instance, maybe have a few days where you do your semi-fasted state, with obviously some plant protein, as well as if you want to include some micronutrition. That's how I do it. and then I have breakfast afterwards. I never skip breakfast ever. I call it carb empty cardio, because I have protein but no carbs. If the carbs are very minimal carbs, if it's vegetables or vegetable extracts in supplemental form. But then I have my breakfast afterwards. And then with fed state, I'll have breakfast before. So doing both is really the ideal way as far as I'm concerned, because you're getting the best of both worlds, and you're creating a whole host of favorable adaptations. The only caveat would be possibly the adaptations compete against each other, but I don't think, I mean, that's the same thing with concurrent training, doing weights and cardio. You're going to have some competition with adaptations. So, but actually, research has shown that concurrent training is actually the best for fat loss. The best for muscle building is just to do weights, no cardio. The best for fat loss is doing both, or the best for heart health is doing cardio. Doing both is also ideal for heart health. So, actually better, I should say. So you're going to get more heart health benefits just doing cardio versus weights. Of course, if your weights have an aerobic component, then you can obviously get heart health benefits with that. Anyway, I'm kind of running off the subject here, but essentially both methods work. So, but I tend to like fasted cardio a little better, because from my personal experience, it's gotten me leaner faster. But that doesn't mean that's all I'm going to do, because the catch with that is the cortisol issues, the adrenal fatigue, and the central nervous system fatigue. Example, I would get zapped during the day. Like I would do my morning cardio like every day or 6 days a week, and there would be times where I would be absolutely just like feel like a zombie, just be tired. And I don't diet, so it wasn't because of how I was eating. It was because that I was basically, you know, taxing my body a little bit excessively, perhaps. I think now with doing both, it's a more of a balance, so you can actually mitigate any of those potential run down sort of feelings or effects from the fasted state cardio. So it's really kind of cool to try both, and I think that's really an answer that most people won't tell you. They'll tell you one or the other, but I think doing both is a good idea, absolutely. Because you're going to get a whole bunch of different sets of adaptations, and they're going to synergize. That's the goal, is to synergize these adaptations. So whatever adaptations you get from your fasted cardio, you can maximize them when you're in your fed state cardio or training, that be it. Even check down at the bottom of the video. There's even a study that found that fasted state resistance training led to some interesting and favorable adaptations. It actually augmented the protein synthesis response when there was a post-workout meal that was consumed, or shake. I don't know what they used in the study, but whatever it was, it actually increased the body's receptiveness and responsiveness to the meal. So in other words, the person got more anabolic. So it's not, and that's look, this kind of goes in hand with the people who argue if it fits their macros. They're just a one-track mind. They only think it's only one way to do things. My approach is mixed methods. You switch it up. That's why I'm big on concurrent training. You've seen my previous videos. I talk about doing both. Well, here I'm talking about doing both, fasted and fed state. So this is something you haven't heard before, folks, and I appreciate you coming by. Stop and watch this video. Keep in mind that I will make more videos on this topic. This is not a unresolved matter. It's a hot topic. It's highly debatable and controversial in some circles, although for me it isn't. It's pretty simple. From a physiological and metabolic standpoint, fasted state cardio burns more body fat, and especially if you train hard while doing it, but you have to have some protein on board so you can minimize protein catabolism during the exercise session. So that being said, so you have to be protein minded if you do fasted cardio. If you do fed state cardio, that's beast mode, because you're going to be loaded with carbs, you're going to be loaded with fuel, and you're going to work harder, and you're going to create great changes and great health benefits and adaptations in the body. So my answer is doing both, and do them and according to what you feel is best. I do them the way I feel is best. Simple as that. Thank you for watching.